All right, thanks guys for such a warm welcome. All right. So, change. Change is a force that is capable of surfacing within each and every single one of us. Change, to me, was once that fickle friend that I never really cared to take a second look at. A fickle friend who really came into my life when I discovered that I'd been diagnosed with social anxiety disorder at the very young age of only 7 years old. Now, this has been a fact that I've been reluctant to speak about in public until now, but in reality, this disorder turned my life upside down in every way imaginable. It began with binge eating, and it eventually led to constant psychological trauma caused by bullying by those who I considered some of my closest friends. But in reality, that wasn't the biggest problem, because rather than fighting back against these people, all I did was conform to the borderlines of this disorder and only accept what they said. I believed in what they said, rather than believing in my own self, which was the biggest mistake I probably made until now. But in reality, I also distanced myself from those who I considered some of my closest people in my life, inclusive of my parents, especially my mother. So my mother, she used to call out to me daily, asking me to change, asking me to seek help, seek assistance into what I'd done to myself, seek help from a psychologist that had even been given to me by the Ministry of Health. But in reality, all I ever did was go back to my little room and cry about my problems, not sharing them, bottling them up constantly. But one fine day, my mom, she just stopped. She stopped telling me to change. She stopped talking about it altogether. She even stopped talking to me for a period of time. In reality, to most of you, it may seem like she'd given up on me. But the one thing this allowed me to do was create a spark that ignited within my own conscience that eventually allowed me to begin to change. So, slowly and steadily, I began to work alongside my fellow psychologist, Dr. Patricia, and eventually I began to overcome the issues that had trapped me in this particular shell for oh so long. My mind finally was set free. It began with a simple thing, the development of healthy relationships which I could never maintain before, especially with my parents, inclusive of my father in particular. So my father, he was a man who used to cry himself to sleep every single night because of me. Because he thought, if this is the problem he's going through right now, what other horrors could he face in life because of this disease and this disorder, when in reality, society's not going to be so forgiving. So now he can sleep in peace, knowing that I can talk, knowing that I can express my feelings to everyone in this room. And that brings me to my second most great change. This talk which I probably wouldn't have been able to mumble to you had I not considered that I needed to change, that I needed to look to change in order to become a better individual and a more confident individual as well. So, an improved self-esteem, confidence in my speech, and even a healthy weight loss are just some of the things that change brought upon me. And in reality, I'm not a superhero. I'm just a normal person like each and every single one of you here. But the one difference is that I decided to change. I decided to change. So, change. What is change? Change cannot be forced from any external force. Change must begin, and it must positively incline from your and only your conscientious efforts, as well as your own drive from within your conscience. So in reality, change is something that we repeatedly drive within ourselves. Therefore, change can never be seen as an act, but in reality, it's a habit. Thank you all for listening.